No one, and I repeat, no one is more dangerous to you than a man who wants to be you. We're going to use the case study of Taylor Frankie Paul and the diabolical man who just won't stop trying to sabotage her. At this point, it's driving me absolutely crazy because he's acting like the literal devil. And unfortunately, she keeps falling for it. She keeps confusing that for love. She keeps confusing that for genuine admiration when it's really nothing more than the cynical play of a total sociopath. Now, her first sign that this man was going to be absolutely and entirely diabolical should have been that he had a TikTok. And not just any TikTok, but a TikTok that was in the same vein as hers.
You know, I don't really care about her video. I mean, that's not the point. The only thing I would say about her video is, here's the thing. No one forces a woman to choose any man, right? The man a woman chooses is she chose it freely, right? No one forces a woman to choose a man. So I used her video as more as an example, right? A little while back, I had a critic, a detractor, okay, who said, "Oh, why do you always talk about men? Why do you always talk about men? You never talk about women." He's like, "Well, when I bring up something about men, oh, what about the women, right? Women do this too. Women, things happen to women too." Here's the thing. We have enough. We have enough, right? Social media is filled with women that just talks about women and then also demonize men. At the very least, I'm not saying my content is solely it, but there's plenty of times I have held men accountable, right? I've held men accountable. I've said things, I've criticized men plenty of times. Now, I'm not saying that it's an abundance, right? It's not like, I don't know, 30% of my content, no, but it's there. And I can say this, you rarely, if ever, in my honest opinion, see creators like that holding women accountable, right? Criticizing women. I believe rarely, if ever, maybe 10%, if that, under 10% of holding women accountable or actually criticizing women. I believe a lot of men's content, at least 30%, around 30%, they do hold men accountable. They do criticize men, right? At least, in my opinion. But this is the thing where, like I said, we have plenty of it. We have plenty of women holding men accountable, right? Talking shit about men, hating on men, whatever, right? Whatever you want. So at the end of the day, I just feel like it's always when men talk about women, it's what about women, or why do you keep on saying the same thing over and over again? Because seriously, who talks about men? Who talks about men, right? Maybe you watch a whole lot of content that there are men talking about men. Most people don't. Most people don't, right? She has a following of over 200,000, right? Most people don't. Most men that talk about men don't have that level of following. I'm not saying, of course, there's a lot of outliers, right? But I don't believe like every, right? I think a lot of women that talks about women, talks about the problems of women, or shitting on men. They have hundreds of thousands of followers. But that's it, right? That's why I wanted to show her videos. Like, we have plenty of women, right, holding men accountable, right? Or their focus is on men, right? Men are terrible, men are whatever. So again, why must men's content always have to make like that? Oh, not all women, or what about women too? When you're talking about men's issues.